Vincent and Melissa and Kaida from New York, Simone from Colorado, and of course Tim's family and parents from the Midwest. We really thank you for being here. Anna, my wife, and I can say without reservation that we are happy to welcome Tim to the family. We couldn't be happier with both Tim and Annika. Tim likes apple wines, likes to travel, and loves Annika. What more could you ask for in a son-in-law? Actually, he's been part of the family for some time now, and we've had several trips up to Napa together, and we've certainly enjoyed that time. So thank you for that. We also welcome Tim's parents, Larry and Michelle. We've been fortunate enough to have socialized with occasions. They've been to our house. We had dinner last night. That was very nice. Thank you for that. It was very fun. And unfortunately, Tim's sister Christy and a family couldn't be here at the wedding due to doctor's orders. And we hope that she's resting comfortably and that perhaps they can travel out here sometime after the baby is born. And we send our best wishes to her. Of course, at times like this, it's natural to become a bit sentimental and to think back to the good old days. The days when Annika was a little girl. And I guess I have a right to do that, especially on the day of her wedding. So I have a few stories about when Annika was little, and she'll probably be a little embarrassed, but that's the intention here. So when Annika was a little girl, actually perhaps technically still a baby, she had the rather strange habit, well actually disgusting habit, of eating garden snails. True story, shell and all, whenever she found one, right? I'm not making this up. We have witnesses. Once she could crawl, we only had to let her loose in the backyard, and if there was a snail she could find and reach, you could be sure she was trying to eat it. Many a time I fished a half-eaten, yucky snail out of her mouth. I didn't bother her every time, but most times I did. And mind you, these weren't the fancy French snails with lots of garlic and spices, but your everyday old slimy garden snail. I'll bet even her close friends, I'll bet even Tim didn't know this. It's one of those family secrets that we... Good.
He did some hand washing.
Anyway, since this day was for sentimental memories, I thought about how I could best honor this habit of little, dainty Annika. I thought about collecting a bunch of snails and bringing them to the wedding, and then seeing what happens. But fortunately for you guys, I was dissuaded from doing that, and I decided to let Hotel Laguna provide us with much, much better food. I suspect that was a good idea. Another little story about Annika. When she was around 18 months old, she had a collection of colorful barrettes that she loved to put in her hair. Oh, that's fine. But she had shall we say, another habit of putting those barrettes in my hair. She would love if I would sit down on the driveway. For some reason, we had to always, of course, being that she was shorter, I had to sit down. So she liked it if I sat down on the driveway in full view of our neighbors. She proceeded to put all these 8 or 10 often colorful barrettes in my hair. And I sat there patiently and let her do this, and we both laughed at it. She laughed, I laughed. And I have a favor to ask of you, Tim. The hair is a little thinner now. I don't think the barrettes would look as good on me as they look on you. So if Annika gets that notion to do that, if you mind taking over for me, I'd really appreciate it. I know they'll look a lot better on you, for sure. Ever since Annika was old enough to express her opinion, probably even before she could really talk, she let it be known that she preferred to wear certain dresses. This is really, I mean, when they talk about boys and girls, when Annika was little, she wanted certain dresses, and she made it known that that's what we had put on her. And her favorite one, well, I have a prop here.
No way. No way.
Oh, he's got it, right?
No.
What's going on back there?
Doing?
I don't know what to do it.
Wayne, what are you doing? Oh.
Put it on, Annika! It probably still fits.
This was her favorite dress that we got. Ann and I went to Japan, or I think friends of ours from Japan gave it to us actually. And it just so happened, Ann and I were talking about this the other day, and my good wife instantly, and within 1 minute, not only had she kept the dress, which I was surprised, but she found it literally within 1 minute after we talked about it. And I said, I have to bring that. So I had to bring it here to show it. Hold it up! So I said, it's hard to believe that so much time has gone by that the cute little girl who wore this tiny dress has now become the beautiful young woman in the lovely wedding dress. One other memory I have to bring up. When Annika was in elementary school, she often complained that the other kids made fun of her last name. And as you know, her last name is Small. Of course, that's my last name. That was my father's last name, my grandfather's last name, my great-grand, and so on. You get the picture. Well, I told her, kids always tease other kids. But the last name, I admit, last name is Small does make it particularly easy. I understand that. And I told her she got to get used to it because she was going to have that name for a long time. And besides, as a boy growing up with that same last name of Small, I could assure her that the jokes directed at me were far, far worse.
Yeah, that's true.
And, you know, I'm not suggesting that Annika married Tim just to get rid of the last name Small. It sure is a bonus in her eyes. But you know, I wasn't going to go down. I wasn't just going to give up here. I said to her a couple months ago, you know, Annika, even after marriage, you could keep the last name Small. I mean, you know, it's a common thing now. Women keep their maiden name. And I said, why, in fact, I suggested that since it's such a nice name, maybe even Tim would like to take it over. And I said he could change it. You know, men do that sort of thing too. So I said, I'll tell you right now, since there are women and children present, I won't translate into English from Danish what her reply to me was about that nice suggestion. So speaking of Danish, that's the language of our household. It's the language we always speak when we're together. Annika's spoken it from day one. And Tim has been learning quite a bit of it, by the way. You need to learn more. You do. But you're learning. And in Danish, the word for cheers, when you make a toast, is skål. So please join me now in raising a glass and saying a hearty skål to Tim and Annika Geiger.
Skål!
Many wonderful years together.
Almost sounds like a football game.
That's your sister-in-law. Not that she's super organized or anything.